Hey, what's going on, guys? Joe McCall, Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast. Glad you're here. Got a good episode today. We're going to talk with a guy who's been, he says it's just an average Joe, average everyday journey into land investing, but I think he's got a very unique story, and I'm excited about introducing him to you all. His name is P.J. Reilly, and we're going to be talking about my favorite subject lately, land investing. Why do I like land investing so much? Well, for starters, my two teenage sons about 3 or 4 years ago started dabbling in it very, very part-time. I started helping them with it. I had a friend who helped me sell the properties. And, in the last 3 or 4 years, my two teenagers have grossed about $150,000 in profits. Now, they didn't get all of that, but all by sending simple, ugly letters and postcards, sending them ridiculous low offers, and putting them out there. And we've been selling them very quickly, very easily. When you compare it to houses, so much easier than houses, selling vacant land. So it's a great way to generate cash now and cash flow, piles of cash and streams of cash. So we have been talking a lot about land investing lately. We got a good guest on today, PJ Reilly, and we're going to talk about it here. All right. So there's a jet flying right overhead. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I should bring on PJ. Anyway, PJ, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear, man. That's a nice sounding jet too.
You could hear it, huh?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Normally this
it's not
is really good about
it's not overwhelming. If my dogs start barking, I'll have to apologize for that too, so don't sweat.
All right. So PJ, thanks for being on the show. I put out a post on Facebook the other day saying, hey, I'm looking for guys and ladies that are doing land deals and would like to talk about their business and what they're doing. And somebody recommended you. We sent each other a few messages back and forth, and here you are. And I want to talk about vacant land and what it is that you're working on. What are you doing? How'd you get started in the business? What does your business look like today? All that good stuff. You ready to be asked a ton of questions?
Man. I love talking about the dirt game, Joe.
Nice. All right. So what were you doing before you got into real estate?
Yeah. So gosh, prior, I can go a little bit further back. I grew up in the military. My dad was in the military. We moved all over the country, landed in Denver, Colorado.
All right.
Where I went to high school and then went to, man, that looks good. That's a good looking hat there.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, that looks solid. So, went to high school in Denver, ended up going to college in Colorado as well. Got out of college and high school with the bare minimum they allow you to graduate with, a 2.0. So, so I'm not bringing any mega level of intelligence into the land business. So, from there, I had my girlfriend at the time and now my current wife, we had a child in college. So We were 21-ish, didn't exactly start on the right foot. Had to go and flip pizzas for a bit and to make money. We did that, ran through a multitude of businesses. I did, so I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur, I guess you would say. I did insurance. I did personal training. We made a company where we tried to put credit card readers into police cars. And that actually kind of it started to go in the right direction. We thought guy gets pulled over, he gets the speeding ticket and he can just run his card right there. So I'm thinking outside of the box, right? We're thinking about all these crazy ideas.
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Right. I thought it was too. No one really bid on it. So hence we're here talking about land and not credit card readers and police cars. So kind of bounced around a bunch, did direct sales. I was a professional kickboxer for a while.
Cool.
Lots of different things, just trying to get to the, I guess, whatever level I thought I could get to. So one day I'm at work. A guy says, hey man, you should invest in Detroit, right? Detroit's the place to be.
What year was this? How long ago?
This is 7 years ago.
Okay.
7 years ago in January.
So 2015.
2015. This guy says, dude, you got to invest in Detroit. That's the place to be. You can buy a house for $1 there. And I'm like, real estate? I have no idea. I have zero real estate experience, no idea what I'm doing. So I go on, the place you go to find any sort of information about anything, right? Yeah. You got to fix your toilets. You got to fix, turn a wrench somewhere. You go to YouTube, right? So I go to YouTube. I look up Detroit. I'm like, I'm going through it. And I realize there's no way I'm going to be buying and selling real estate in Detroit.
Yeah.
what had happened was I had done direct sales and I had about $1,200 in an envelope underneath my bed, right? So this is the money I'm working with, $1,200. So Detroit's not going to work out. Now, through the course of these videos, there's a guy talking about land. He says, yeah, you can buy and sell land and sell it, and you can make a lot of money doing that. So I thought, that's awesome. So I got about halfway through the video. I stopped, like I do with pretty much everything. And I went on Zillow, right? So I went on Zillow and I found a guy who had, he was selling 2 lots in just 2 hours south of me in Pueblo, Colorado.
Okay.
They were $1,100 each. I got $1,200 in an envelope in my pocket, in my bedroom. So I'm excited about this. So I say, all right, I got halfway through this guy's tutorial video and he said, you got to lowball these guys. You got to tell them, like, you don't pay retail price. So I said, cool. It's like, hey dude, would you take $1,100 for both of your properties?
Okay.
And I was like, there's no way this guy's going to be like, you're an idiot. Get out of here. No, he goes, yes. And so I was like, oh, all right. So
was this a land investor you were buying them from, or just a regular landowner?
Who knows? It was some guy that owned, he was in New York. He owned, just those 2 properties. That's all he had. But he said yes. And so I was kind of blown away. So I was like, so what do we do now? And he goes, well, don't sweat it. I'll get the deed. You send me the check. I'll do all the deed and all that kind of stuff. So I said, all right. So we get, the whole process is done. I go back to the video. I'm like, I'm going to kind of learn the rest of this stuff. Like, send out letters, right? You got to send out letters. So I started sending out these handwritten postcards, and dude, they were terrible. They were handwritten. I had one guy respond to it, and he said, yeah, I received your childlike postcard today in the mail. And I'm like, okay, I got to get better than this. So, progressively got better. Started sending out better and better postcards. I believe we were using click to mail back then. Just better, better font. Yeah. Sending out better postcards more often. Kind of progressed from there, and kind of that's where we're at now.
So what'd you do with those 2 properties near Pueblo?
Sure. So I put them on. I didn't know how to market anything. So I figured Craigslist would probably be your best option. So I put them on Craigslist, sold them both within about, I want to say it was a week or 2 weeks.
Wow. For how much?
$1,500. So these are $550 a piece. I sold them for $1,500 a piece.
Nice.
And, I mean, where else could you get that kind of return, right?
Yeah.
Almost 3 times my money. And it was done within 2 weeks. So I was like, dude, I think I got something here. I think this might actually work.
Yeah. All right. So then what? Did you buy somebody's course? Just kept on watching videos? What did you do?
Yeah. So I give it another year. I was doing kind of everything on my own. Then I did buy, sorry. I did buy a course.
Okay.
I bought a video course, had the book attached to it, and I kind of went over that. That helped quite a bit. But I will say the year of experience previously helped a lot more. The trial and error, failing, getting people make fun of your letters, dude. That's like, man, I was like, really? I wrote that thing myself. I thought about all the, what I would say. You think that's a childlike letter? So, it's just, it was learning the game as I went. I felt like it was better than the actual paper course. Now a mentor is completely different. That would have been incredibly helpful had I had somebody to bounce ideas off of early in the game.
All right. So then about 2015, 2016, what are you doing at that time? You're just getting started in land investing. Did you have other source of income?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a job. I had a day job, worked in communications.
All right. So what was it like that first year? How many deals did you do, and what kind of deals were you doing?
Dude, the first year, I think we did maybe 8 to 10 deals. Nothing crazy. There were no Facebook pages then too. There wasn't a group. There wasn't anything to compare yourself to.
Okay.
So, and if there were, they were very elementary. They were just beginners doing everything. So the deals were really small. I felt guilty almost asking for too much money. So I would say, hey, I was selling on financing almost immediately. So I would sell.
So interesting.
Yeah. So it was almost instantly. That was part of the video, right? Was to sell on financing. So I would sell for maybe $100 a month. for the duration of whatever the property was, whatever I was selling it for. So it takes you a long time to get anywhere at $100 a month.
Sure.
For that first year, maybe 10 deals. And then we progressively doubled almost every year to where we're at now, 7 years later, where we're doing, I've done a total of maybe 400 or so land deals.
Nice.
At this point.
And have you sold them on financing, all of them on owner financing?
It's about 90-10, about 90% financing, 10% cash sales.
Nice.
It's I mean, you understand financing. It's much easier to sell on financing. You buy a property for $5,000, you sell it to this guy for 15, 3 times your money, right? He can't afford $15,000. He lives in rural Arkansas. He just wants that property so bad. He's always wanted this thing. He's telling all his buddies, dude, I'm going to go out and buy this property and it's going to be great. We're all going to hunt, camp, and fish out there. It's going to be amazing. He can't come up with $15,000 though. That's his only problem.
Yeah.
So we make it easy by doing it for, let's say, $300 a month for 50 months. And most people, I don't want to say anybody, most people can do that. So he gets the property he's always wanted. This is his dream, to have this just land out there in the middle of nowhere. He gets that, I get my return, and everybody's happy.
Have you ever had a property that you couldn't sell?
No.
Isn't that crazy?
No. Yeah. And there's a couple there's one I'm dealing with right now, and I sold it, and then I actually had to give the person her money back. And here's why. So I bought this 6-acre property. I was pretty excited about it. Beautiful area, highway right next to it. Right, it ran right along this big. It was technically a highway. It's a 2-lane road, rural area, just beautiful property. And then the state tells me we're putting a highway directly through the middle of your property.
No way.
So yeah, the previous owner hadn't really. The guy who sold it to me never said anything about that. So, some you win, some you lose some. So
did the state pay you?
Well, that's the thing. So I gave this lady her money back, the buyer, and then the state. Now we're kind of going back and forth. They're like, we're going to send an assessor out. We're going to give you a check, but we're not sure what it's going to be yet. So it's we're still kind of up in the air on the actual price that I'm going to get, but they're going to pay me for whatever they've done out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So how many notes do you currently have right now active, and about what's your approximate monthly cash flow, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. I usually have about 70 notes running at a time.
Okay.
So 70 notes, and you got to keep that machine moving, because
the
notes don't last forever. If they're a 5-year note, at that point, now you don't get that cash flow anymore. You got to put that back into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I have about 70-ish going right now. We probably bring in about 15, let's say 10 to 15, about 15,000 a month on just the notes. I had a cash sale, haven't had one in the past month, so we'll get about 15,000 this month just on notes.
And so, how many are you buying on average every month?
Let's say 5, maybe 5 properties a month, and that's typical. That's been what it's been like the whole time. It's a pretty steady flow of properties. I send out a lot of letters every month now.
About how many letters do you send?
About 10,000.
Nice.
So 2,500 every Monday go out. I've researched that county or that community, over the weekend or previously to sending them all out. I have certain areas that I hit regularly. So I'll have a list of all these, areas that I like to buy land, and I'll go back to that area maybe every 8 months. I don't want to overdo it, because then you start to just irritate everybody there. But I'll try to have kind of like a regular area, and then I'll test out new areas every now and again.
So what parts of the country, you don't have to be specific if you don't want, but what parts of the country do you like?
It's a secret, Joe. I can never tell you that.
Central Midwest.
Yeah, right. No, it's desert squares. No, I'm just kidding. I initially started with the desert squares, but now I'd say center of the country, that middle part of the country. Lots of trees, lots of green. I like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Colorado, Wyoming.
Yeah.
I like that center part of the country. I also like the Southeast. So I like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida. Those are great states too. I still will buy in the usuals, the Costilla counties, New Mexico, Arizona. The only state I won't do is California ever again.
Why is that?
it was a nightmare buying and selling and recording deeds, dealing with the county. Okay. So I bought 20 properties from a guy in California. I bought 20 properties for $20,000. And I thought, dude, smoking deal, right? We went to record the deeds. They kept returning the deeds. And I'm using a California deed template to do this. So I thought, this is bizarre. I mean, how is this not working? And every single time it was a different error. I don't know if I was getting a different employee. And this is 20 different properties in maybe 6 different counties. It was just nonstop issues. So I was like, okay, I'll buy and sell these and I just won't work there anymore. So it's pretty simple. There's plenty of other places to work.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Just a lot of headaches, and I don't want to deal with that. It was all snail mail deeds. You couldn't do anything through electronic deeds, Simply File, things like that.
Are you self-closing your deals, or do you use a title company to help you with that?
Yeah, self-close everything. I've used a title company every now and again, but I don't have a good success rate with title companies either. I've had to correct a lot of their deeds.
Yeah.
And that's actually a very consistent thing. I've had to go in and fix things and show them, hey, you messed up here, guys. I'm using you because I want a professional, I want my customer to see a professional company doing a deed, doing a closing, and then you go and screw it up. So I just, for the vast majority of them, I'll do them myself. Anything too high, I will work with a title company, because a lot of the people who, come in with $30,000 or more want a title company. They want to ensure their money's safe.
All right. Cool. What kind of properties are you looking for? What's some of your criteria?
Oh yeah, I love anywhere between 5 and 40 acres is kind of the bread and butter. I like a property that has roads. Road access it's not essential, but it's very high on the list.
Sure.
So I'll do anything between 5 and 40. I like trees or some sort of something aesthetic. If there's a lake nearby, if there's mountains in the distance, something that where you can go out to that property, take pictures of it, and it's somehow appealing. A lot of the properties in the desert area, you'll take it and there's not even a mountain in the background. There's just nothing there. So I want something somewhere close, maybe even like a landmark close by, that I can include in the ad to sell these properties, to make them more appealing.
Okay, cool. It sounds like you're pretty selective. If you're sending about 2,500 postcards a week and you're buying about 10,000 postcards or letters rather a month, and you're buying about 5 a month, you're buying about 1 property every 2,000 letters.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're definitely more selective about the properties that you buy? Because some people, will buy a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. Right? They'll buy 1 property every 1,000 letters, but you're buying 1 out of every 2,000 or something. Yeah. Are you more selective with what you buy then?
I think it's got to be a combination of a few things. There might be a few more people doing what I'm doing nowadays. So there is a few more people doing what I'm doing. So that's going to cut into your percentages. I am definitely more selective though. I've gotten a few lately that don't have access, and maybe they have a gate where the person who owns the gate is refusing to let me pass. So I'm just not really going to deal with all that because if you can't get to a property, you just can't get to it. And and nobody wants to buy that. And I don't want to be the guy who's selling properties to people that are not necessarily junk, but they'll never be able to use them. I want that constant, I want reviews. I want feedback from people that are like, yeah, man, this guy sold me a great property. I had road access. We drive the kids out there every summer. It's awesome. I don't want them to be like, yeah, we got some guy pulled a shotgun on us out at this property. So yeah, I got to be a little more selective. So whether it's physical access issues or title issues, you run into those quite a bit too. I'll do a title search myself, and then I'll find, this. You'll find the seller wants to sell the property because they've been paying taxes for 30 years, but they don't own the property, and they've never owned the property. So for some reason, they just keep getting this tax bill from the county. So they're under the assumption they own the property. That happens actually a lot.
Oh, I've never run into that. Yeah. What about HOAs? Will you buy a property in an HOA, and is there certain HOAs and certain restrictions where you won't?
Sometimes, yes. If you have to research those HOAs immediately. Like right when I get an offer back on a property, I'll look at the HOA. if the price is too high, some of these guys are charging like $200 a month for vacant land with no utilities. There's absolutely nothing they're providing. So I will not buy those. I would buy if it was small, let's say $10 a month, no big deal. If it has road access, it's a great property. I'm going to buy that one. If the HOA has too many rules and regulations, I won't buy. Like almost everybody in rural areas, one of their first questions is, can I put a mobile home on it? That's a very common, normal question. A lot of HOAs don't allow that. They want single family homes only. So that wouldn't, for my typical buyer, that's not going to work out.
Well, I've been running across some of these lately. It's an HOA that says you can only camp there by permit only, or you can only camp 30 days out of the year. You can have a mobile home there, but it has to be on a foundation. So like, what about something like that?
That would be perfect. I would take that 10 times out of 10.
That would be a good HOA.
Absolutely.
And the HOA dues are only like $250 a year.
Oh yeah. I would take that every day.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you can camp there, so a lot of the HOAs will say there's absolutely no camping. I mean, zero camping at all. And some of these areas are beautiful. There's places people want to go to camp. So if they allow you to camp at all, I would 100% take it. Okay. And you can build and put a mobile there. Oh yeah, that's a win, man.
Nice. All right.
What part of the state or country is that?
Northern California.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to tell me you don't have to tell me your secrets.
All right. So you're sending out blind offers mainly. That's your letters.
Yeah. So I do the process that probably a lot of people are doing right now. I get a list. I find a list. I use DataTree to get my list. I take that list and I send it to the virtual assistants. We have virtual assistants that we work with, and send the virtual assistants send the letter to the letter printing company with all the data. They send everything out, and it comes back to me. We use Pat Live to take in the calls, and at that point, I will take whatever calls come back that look positive.
Okay. How do you calculate your offers? Or how do you figure what the values are worth?
Yeah. So one of the good things I use is websites like Land and Farm. Land Watch is probably the best one, I think, because you're looking for the largest selection of competing properties or like properties, right? And you can get them on those sites. So I'll take them. I'll price the properties low to high, right? Let's say I take a 4 to 6 acre property we'll use Costilla County, Colorado, because it's so common for the land investor. 4 to 6 acres, Costilla County, price it low to high. So I will take the bottom 5 of those properties and I'll average them out and offer a third of that. So the bottom cash prices, typically, what are you paying on there? Maybe $3,000.
So are you looking at the active listings or the sold listings?
It's a combination of active. So on Land Watch, there's certain criteria. I take sold, active, under contract, and the other one is, gosh, I can't remember what the other one is. It's basically people like us selling land. Yeah. That is the big category. I can't remember the term of it, but I'm sure we'll figure it out at the end. I'll take all of them and add that all in together.
So you're looking for, let's say, 2 to 4 acres in this certain area. Mm-hmm. And you'll sort it from low to high.
Yep. Lowest price to highest price. Yeah. Right. I don't want to mess with a high price.
So it's low at the top, high at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. And
then you take the lowest 5 at the top 5 or the most expensive 5?
The cheapest 5. The cheapest 5 properties that I can see on there. I'll take those and I'll average them out and then offer a third of that.
Okay.
And that's what'll be my price. And once you figure out the price for a certain area, I get a lot of offers, a lot of land offers, just due to the amount of properties I own. And I'm sure you're getting the same thing. So I can see kind of what people are offering. So that helps a lot too. Once you've kind of accumulated a few more properties, you can start to realize, well, I mean, my average is here, but everyone's offering a little bit higher than that. So maybe we should bump it up just a little bit, just to compete with everybody else.
Have you ever tried sending a neutral letter? Just, hey, do you want to sell your lot? Give me a call. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah. I didn't like that at all. you have to be able to, you have to be a good on the phone salesperson to be able to deal with that. I was not that. So I did it, and I did it for a while. You just dealt with a lot of people saying, my 5-acre property in Costilla County is worth $5 million, and you're this and that if you don't want to accept that. So you have to actually deal with that. I didn't like that at all. I just stopped doing that altogether.
All right, cool. Talk about the follow-up, PJ. Do you send a lot of follow-up to people that, initially respond to your offer, but then reject it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If there's somebody who has said, I mean, it's very rare that we don't close on someone who says, yes, I want to sell it. It's almost never. Usually if they say, yeah, I want to sell my property. You offered 5. What about 6? Almost instantly, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's go. I'm definitely more for speed. I'd rather have the quick nickel than the slow dime, I guess. I kind of want speed. I want this thing to go a lot faster. So let's get rid of any sort of debate. Let's not go back and forth. No, what about 5,500? What about 5,750? I'm not gonna nickel and dime these guys. I want to make this quick and as simple for them as possible.
Nice. All right.
So typically, I don't have a lot of people to follow up with. They either say yes, or I get a voicemail or a Pat Live message full of F-bombs and, I'm gonna all these bad things. I actually had a lady the other day tell me her husband was going to come over and break my kneecaps.
Wow.
And to take it seriously, because he's coming. He hasn't shown up yet. It's been a month or so. I'm still waiting.
All right. So are you doing this full time now? Or are you still working, or you have something?
No, I'm still working. I still work. Yeah.
Well, you do.
Initially, yeah. Right now, so what I like to do is put as much money as humanly possible back into the business itself. We got kids going into college, competitive sports, things like that. Everything in life is pretty expensive right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you understand how it is. So I'd say 80% of the income in land goes back into the business without even blinking. We give ourselves a decent amount of money, but the vast majority goes back into the business, and it's working. That's when you send out 10,000 letters a month, that's 5,000 just on its own.
Mm-hmm.
That's a significant amount of money just in the letters. That doesn't count for the purchase of the property, all your VAs, different data sources, things like that.
Could you quit your job if you wanted to?
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you did, would you make enough to support yourself?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm bringing $15,000 a month. I could definitely do it.
Yeah. And you could even maybe ramp that up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think, if you had more time to devote to it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Time is a huge factor. I would say I spend maybe, let's say 20 hours a week in vacant land, buying and selling land.
20 hours a week.
About 20. Yeah. And that's research. That's, I'd say that sounds low, right? That sounds low for a job that makes you, right, business that makes you $15,000 a month. I mean, most people would be like, how can I make $15,000 a month working 20 hours, right? But it takes time to get to that level. Like right now, I already have the data sources. I know exactly where to go. I can make it much faster than I did when I initially started.
All right. I wanted to ask you about a couple things else here.
Sure.
Due diligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
You really don't do your due diligence until after the seller's accepted your offer. So what's involved with due diligence for you? What do you look at again? I know you talked about this a little bit already, but what are you looking at to see or to decide if you're going to buy it or not?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll check county records. A lot of times that stuff's online. Some of them you have to be a member of whatever state that is. Let's say, for example, Oklahoma has all their deeds online. As long as you're a member of that website, you can search everything in that state for like $10 a month or something. And so I'll do that. I'll check all chain of history or chain of title. Okay. And I will check everything, easements, deeds, look it up in every different possible way to determine that's the property that I'm buying. Other than that, I will send somebody out. In certain areas we have guys on the ground that will go out and they'll take pictures of the property. They'll say, hey, there's a gate, you can't get past it, or we'll have a boots on the ground type person. They'll be able to determine a lot of things that you can't really see from Google Maps or from the county assessor's GIS maps. So I'll send a guy out there. They'll run around, look at it. Hey man, did you know there's a giant trash pile and a meth lab next to your house, your property? Like, so let's not get that one, right?
Will they take pictures for you too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I find those guys on Facebook Marketplace a lot. So So the same Facebook group, buy sell group that I'm selling these properties on, prior to even putting the property online, I'll throw out there hey, anybody want to stop by? I'll pay you $100. Take 12 to 15 pictures, video. Let me know any issues that you see about the property. And it's like a feeding frenzy.
How much do you offer to pay?
$50 to $100.
50. So, okay. What kinds of Facebook groups are you putting these in? Are you putting them in like the local community groups that are in that area?
Yeah. All the buy sell groups, like, those buy sell groups they're awesome because people are watching those things all day long. And if your title is something like, $100, want to make $100, or, a lot of these guys live in the neighborhood. So if it's a really rural neighborhood, let's say in Arkansas somewhere, they're the only guy available. You're not going to call like a photographer or something like that. No, people aren't going to drive out to that area to get your pictures for you anyway. So you got to get hold of these local guys or girls, and they'll go out, take pictures. They'll tell you what the neighborhood's like. It's just great to have those people, like those boots on the ground, and I can do it for $50, $100. I'll Venmo them the money too instantly.
How do you find those local buy sell trade groups?
Yeah, so I will just search on Facebook.
All right,
take a random county, Costilla County, Colorado. I will search Costilla County, buy sell trade, buy sell.
I just found it right here.
Market.
I looked at my county I'm working on in Northern California. I just put in their county, and there's a group right there, 11,000 members.
Perfect. And that's a good number of people. So 11,000 people are going to see you offering a job, for whatever amount, for $50 to drive down the road and take pictures of that property down there. Oh yeah, I'll do that right now. Heck, I might do that. Someone asks me to go take pictures of my neighbor's house. I'm going to do it for $100.
This is active too. I mean, just within hours, people are posting things to sell.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Great resource, man.
Why haven't I ever? I do that for houses, but I've never thought about doing that for land. Dang.
Oh yeah.
All right. So interesting. And there's another one also. It's not as big, but another one with 515 members. All right. So you'll find people that will take pictures, inspect the property, and look at it. Do you ever use a local realtor if it's a big enough property?
I have used realtors before, like local realtors, and actually I've met them all on Facebook. The ones that I have used, I've met just through buy sell. I'll put a property up and they'll say, "Hey man, I'm a local realtor. If you ever need any help, just shoot me a message." And so I'll kind of develop a relationship with them. Just a couple of messages back and forth. Yeah, man, can I use you for the future if I need to use a realtor? And then that's kind of how that relationship will develop. I got one guy, man, he was a realtor. This guy gets on a four-wheeler and he'll go out to the most rural dirt road properties in the middle of nowhere for me and take great pictures, do four corners GPS. He puts up blue ribbons on the trees of all four corners. So you're going to find some really cool people if you just get yourself out there and look for them.
Now, you don't have a problem joining these groups? Do you tell them? Because like this one I just looked at, it's asking me, what part of the county do you live in?
Sure.
What do you say?
So I say, I tell them flat out, I live in Denver, but I own a property in, I don't know, you're Northern California, Modoc County, and I really got to sell it. Is there any way I can be a part of the group? 100% of the time they let me in.
You're just honest with them about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or I just say, I don't live close by, but I own, 2-3 properties in this town. Immediately they know who you are, and they know of that area. And if you own property there, you're good to go.
Oh, look, I didn't even answer the question. I just clicked out of it and it let me, I'm in the group. It joined me.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than you might think. I mean, I think a lot of those questions, when people see those questions, they get nervous.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna get in trouble with the Facebook police and they disappear. But I mean, it's good business though, too. It's not like you're going in there doing anything strange. You're going in there to help the community. Hell, you're offering a job right now for $50 or $100. Take pictures.
You know
You're
how
doing real estate there.
you can see who's members of the group, and it'll show you who your friends are that are in the group.
Yep.
I'm seeing
I
some
already know what you're gonna say.
land investor friends of mine that are in this county buy sell group.
Oh yeah. Like, how do I have 34 friends in the middle of Arizona, in the Arizona desert? Like, I don't know anybody out there.
That's
but
crazy.
Yeah.
That what a great idea. Like as soon as we're done here, I'm going to be texting my assistant because we just spent way too much money getting somebody to take photos in one area. And I was just so busy. I said, I don't care how much it costs. Just do it and get it done.
Yeah.
We could have saved a lot of money doing this.
Yeah. And on the ads I put in there that, I can pay you in, right away. Immediately when I get the pictures, I'll pay you right away. So there's no weird, who's this guy? I'm going to go out there and do all this work for him. He's never going to pay me. So let them know right away and then follow up, immediately pay them and then ask them for a review. Maybe say, hey, can you go back on there and say he was legit. He paid me right away and everybody's happy.
Do you advertise your properties on there too?
I sell 90% on Facebook.
Facebook groups?
Facebook groups and marketplace.
Yeah. And marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what you do is you go in there, you put it on a group, and then because you're members of so many different groups, you just check all those little boxes, as well as marketplace, and it just shoots your property out there.
Excellent. Good. Do you put it on the land.com websites?
No. I was a member of those a long time ago, and I got good leads, but Facebook was so much better. And then they bumped the prices up. I think it was like $500 a month for, I don't even remember what it was, but it wasn't even close to worth $500 a month. And I can't remember. I was pretty new even then, but the prices weren't worth the returns I was getting on those sites. So Facebook, I mean, it's easy, and you get a buyer's list after a while. After some time, you find people. They're like, hey man, I'm sorry the property sold, but hey, if you get on this buyer's list, I will get you the properties before I even put them on Facebook. I'll send them to you first.
Nice. Yeah.
So many people are like, yeah, I want that. Yeah, I want that.
Cool. A lot of people wonder about how am I going to get the money to buy these deals, right? So I'm doing the direct mail. I'm going to have to, do I use my own money or what have you done and how have you overcome that? Do you use your own cash? Do you borrow money, private money? What do you do?
Yeah, it's all my own money. So especially the first few years, I just reinvested 100% of the money. So that's what took me a little bit longer. I don't have a rich uncle. I didn't come out of college with some fancy degree that got me an amazing job. And I saved $250,000. Dude, I was working for the state. I was making 40 grand a year. Yeah. It wasn't like I was kicking ass at the beginning. So I had to it was a slow churn, just constantly reinvest. After about 3 years, we got a HELOC on the house. And so we started using that. So I started using my home equity line of credit to buy more and more and more. And we didn't go crazy on that. Yeah. But it absolutely opened up a new source of money to buy more land.
Cool. Somebody's asking here real quick. Sharon is, when you're looking for a new county to go into, what are some of the criteria you look for to see if you're going to market and send letters?
Sure. I'd say immediately, the first thing I do when I think of a new, let's go with state bigger first, and then we'll work down to county. I'll take a state and I'll look at it overhead and I'll look at it on Google Maps. I'll look for the areas that have trees, right? And I'll look for the cities, and I'll kind of move outside of the cities. So if there's an area outside of the cities that has a bunch of trees, it's green. Yep. We'll zoom in there. Okay. Now we have our area. What county is this? You go to the county map, you find out what county that is. Then from there, you find out, okay, this is a beautiful county, lots of trees. How many 5-acre properties are in this area? That's where I'll start to work it down. I'll go to Land Watch, Land and Farm. What do 5-acre properties cost in this area? It's simply just an aesthetic start. I look at where I would want to go if I was buying land. I just look overhead. There it is. I want to go there. Okay, what does that area look like? What are the criteria? How much does land cost in this area? And then just work from there.
Nice. PJ, we got to wrap it up here. This
Yeah,
has
let's do
been
it.
really, really good. How can people get a hold of you? Do you have a website that people can go to or social
Sure.
media?
Yeah, Facebook's probably the best place. I get a lot of messages on Facebook. We're on Patreon. I'm on Instagram. The website is wholesalelandusa.com. That's where I
Nice.
sell the properties.
Wholesalelandusa.com.
Yeah, and I'll text you all. I'll send you all that info.
Okay, very cool. Are you ever looking for, somebody has a deal, they want to partner with you on a deal? Do you ever partner with people?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is becoming the biggest concern right now is we're getting bigger deals and better deals.
Yeah.
And financing is always an issue. It's always like, okay, I have this. Anybody want to be a part of this? So if
Mhm.
anybody wants to, do deals with me, partner, or even just talk shop, man, hit me up on
Nice.
Facebook and we can get started.
Wholesalelandusa.com, right?
Yeah. And my name's under there, PJ Reilly. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, YouTube, really anything. Let's hang out.
All right. This has been good. I wish we could talk more,
Absolutely.
but I got a hard stop here. PJ, thank you so much, man. We'll talk soon. Hopefully meet someday in person.
Absolutely. Joe, I had a great time. Thanks, man.
All right. Bless you. See you.
All
Bye-bye.
right, take care.
Thank you, everybody.